Alright, so we're going to Devin's parents for Christmas, and one of the things Devin's dad is really good at is woodworking, machining, metalwork, lathes, all of the things. So we are going to take this whole assembly with us, but before we take it out, I wanted to show you guys how it works. So these doors swing open, this flips up, so that keeps us secure and keeps most of the air out. But what we like about this setup is we can flip this down and still have the doors closed, and then there's some airflow. And the benefit is Brizzo loves this, so we call it the Brizway because she can get in and out of there on her own. So even if we're not here, we can still lock it up here, but she can come in and out. So that's nice. And then the other thing too that's nice is just a step. It's a seat. It's over out here in the cockpit. You can just sit here and have someone there, someone there, someone there, someone there if you want. The other thing about this too is underneath it provides a little bit of storage. So we haven't really used it much. It's just kind of gross in there right now. But if we flip up that part, and then we flip up this part, then there's a nice good bit of storage. So if you want like extra winch handle, extra line, right now we have like boat wax and toothbrush and some blocks, but we'll use this to our preference here. But we're going to take this home and just refinish it and stain it and seal it, because the wood itself is okay. There's not rot. The only part that's really troublesome is this little piece here. It's so thin that it's just cracked over the years, and so you can see it's just holding on by a couple of like brad nails here, and so we'll have to definitely, and it's just a solid piece, so we'll have to figure out a way to improve that. But yeah, and the tolerances are very, very precise. So we've got to get it good, because look at how that clearance there is just almost nothing. So it has to be pretty accurate. So we'll take it to Dad, and we'll be able to get that replaced and this sanded down, epoxied, and sealed with our sealer. But the project is, while we're gone, we need to be able to close that up, because we're going to be gone over a couple weeks. So what we need to do is we have to figure out a way to close that up. So I have these two boards here, and those are going to be like that. So I need to make sure that they fit together. So I'm just gonna use these, screw those in, one there, so I can keep my boards together as one piece. And then I was thinking about putting this on the inside of the board and screw it in to where I can turn it like this. So when it's open, I would turn it, but if I wanted to lock it, I could turn it like this, and then maybe this will wedge over here and this will wedge over there to kind of keep it closed up. So that's the theory. Let's see if that plan would work. But this is just a spare shelving rail from the refrigerator that we took out, and I don't know what these are, but this should work. Let's give that a go. All right, progress update. So we've got our 2 pieces of wood here. I just joined them together with these 2 straps, and then this guy, a bolt going through the wood, through this aluminum rail. And so the idea is when this is out of here, so this won't be here when we install this, the idea will be that whole piece will sit in there like that. So this end will go in right here, and then this end will go about right where it's at, and then I can use this nut to squeeze it together and tighten it down, and then we'll close the doors, and that will be a good temporary away solution. I wish I had a wing nut, but I didn't have a wing nut, and the only nut that fit this was this weird one, but it's actually not too bad because it gives me more surface area to grab onto to tighten it up. Alright, so next step is to take out the step that we're gonna refinish and refurbish, and then that'll be the true test if this temporary panel fits. Okay, got these pulled off. So this is the flippy flaps, and then this is the lid, and then now we have this, and the screws are out, so it should just be a matter of, or not. Okay, that's on there pretty good. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, got it off. It wasn't, see, look how nice that is. That's like, that is probably original. This is not. So here's our manufacturer plate. It's got the make and the model and the whole ID number and the location it was built. So every boat has to have a whole ID number. When we were buying this one, you can see here that you can't even read that number anymore. So there was a bunch of problems and issues with the paperwork because we couldn't find the original whole ID number, and obviously you can't read it here. And that's a very, very important number to get your paperwork done. So eventually we found like the original purchase paperwork that had the whole ID number listed, and so we were able to get that corrected and updated. But definitely look out for that when you're buying a boat, is make sure the whole ID number is present and make sure it matches the paperwork that you have, because at one point the whole ID number actually got registered wrong with the United States Coast Guard, and that even caused more issues. So look out for that when you're buying a boat, and make sure you have a good document closing person, because ours was wonderful. We'll put a link to her in the description below. She was fantastic. Okay, so old Companionway door hatch and step and locker has been removed, and then a temporary piece has been put in. So it's just kind of, well, one wedged in there, and then I have this bolt coming through to this aluminum piece. So this piece actually came out of our fridge, and then I've just kind of clamped down on this bolt, this nut here, to squeeze that together and lock it in place. And our doors now also closed. Not perfectly tight, but I mean, better than not. And yeah, that's how we're going to leave the boat while we, oh, and then our lock goes here, so it's still just as secure. But that's how we're going to leave the boat while we go away for Christmas and New Year's and spend time building a new one. So I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit so it looks a little nicer, and we'll call this done. Okay, so we've got our Companionway step and storage box hardware in Papa's shop. So this is pretty much a treasure trove of tools and resources and machinery and equipment, fasteners, and this is just the woodworking side. On this side back here, it's the metal shop with a CNC, a lathe, drill presses, welding machinery and equipment, TV there. So it's really nice. And I think this sums it up. And also this. Yeah, it's good. So right now what we're doing is we are taking the old manufacturer plate off. These are not riveted through, which is interesting. They don't go all the way through, but they do. They are rivets, and they don't have a screw head or anything. So I'm just gonna drill them out and be careful not to go all the way through the wood. Okay, so I got the little rivet nuts out. Let's see if we can. There we go. Just lift that off. Cool. We will save this. I'm gonna have a new one made. Look how thin that is, though. We'll get a new one made and spruce it up. This will be hard to reproduce, that logo, but it'll be worth it to try. So it snowed at the marina, well, in Portland, not just at the marina. Devin's doing her part. You're so cute. Look at the walkway. We've been away for a little few days because we've been at her parents' house for the holiday, and this is the first time we're getting back to the boat. So let's make sure she's still floating. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. This wood, nice, the bulk of it done. But there's these screw holes, and we're going to save this piece of wood. I'm just going to epoxy it and varnish it. But I can't get these screw holes with that larger sander because it takes these size discs, and that's not going to fit in there. So let's give this thing a try. It fits in there pretty good. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that worked out pretty good. Can't really see it, but most of it's gone. And really, oh, there's a good view. And really, I didn't need to get all of it out, just enough to key it up, and so the new epoxy and varnish will stick. Okay, so the next thing is, we started out with a pretty tough 60 grit sandpaper to get the bulk of the material off. Now we're going to step it down a bit and do a little more finer sanding to smooth it out, and we'll do that on all the pieces.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode.